Hey everybody. So there's been a lot of questions lately around the ability to code and utilize code with LLM models. And so I decided to make this video to kind of show a method that I've developed that it seems to work really successfully to me with coding with LLM models. And it utilizes essentially kind of like all of the research that has been put out around LLM model development and how exactly LLM models learn, how exactly they code, how exactly they produce the code. And so within that, the major bottom line is that LLM models aren't very good at like one-shotting code. So like they don't really understand the code that they're producing. Basically, they're kind of just like synthetically producing it. And then, but on the flip side, they're very good at like finding errors in code and improving code. And then so within that, my model, I call it kind of like triple shotting. And then so what it is you start with one model and you have it generate the code, and then you run that code through like the different models. So I have three examples here. They kind of go from like very easy to like on up to harder. So to demonstrate, and then so within this, we can start with Bard, and then we'll just ask to start the to generate code for Hello World website, like really basic website is kind of where we'll start with. Cool. So it generates code, really basic code, really basic. Let's see if it does anything better as far as including everything. No. And then so we'll go, and then we'll ask, since we'll use code llama second, since this is very basic. And then we'll ask code llama, can you optimize the following code? And we'll see what it does. So I removed the unnecessary white space indentation. So we're starting off with a very basic example here. I'm not expecting any sort of like major improvements to the code here. I just wanted to show like that it can do it. So we'll do the same thing. Can you optimize this? Yeah, it's already quite minimal and straightforward. So it gets this right. Like it's not much else that you can do with this example, but it shows that it can on a basic level code. That's kind of where we want to start with, right? Like the most basic level shown in there. And then so let's step it up here. So this one is I would like to connect a Salesforce instance to a Marketo instance using REST API and Postman for a one-way integration between Marketo and Salesforce. Can you provide the code that would allow me to do so? Now here's where I expect some things to happen. Cool. Create a new Postman request. Set the request URL. Set the post. So the header can definitely use some more work. Set the request. Yeah, this code can use a lot of work. So we're going to copy this code. This code wouldn't work if you used it. So let's if you one-shotted it, that's not useful code, right? It's what everyone can produce and show. And then I'm going to say the same thing. Can you optimize the code? And then I'm going to tell it specifically what I'm trying to do as well. So just tell it that I'm trying to optimize foreign code. One thing is they're very good at they're classifying and showing explanations for what they're coding out. So like if as far as readability of the code, LLM models tend to do a really good job there. There we go. Here's what I was looking for. So now we start improving the code. Like I expect. Looking here, it's in the wrong order because I see that the headers are here at the bottom. I can already tell, but uh, it's giving what we need there because we needed. I noticed one of the things that was missing on the Bard code is that there was no headers there. JSON stringify. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So it created error logs. Good. Let's take a look. New request. Set the request URL. Request method. And then the headers, which we needed before. Authorization bearer, that's good. Send the request. Check the response status. Cool. Oh yeah, cool. So this would work. Now let's try to see if we can make it better. Let's go to ChatGPT. So from that, we can see that just from like one-shotting it, we wouldn't have code that would work. Here we have code that would work. It's not like the most optimized code, but so we'll do the same exact thing. And then we'll take the prompt that we gave CodeLlama. From here. Good. And added the Marketo instance before the CodeLlama only produced the Salesforce instance. Good, good. Yeah. So again, like we have like much better code here, and then this is from triple shotting, and then it does. Of course, we have to replace some things within this code to make it generally work. But what we can see here is like going from the Bard example, real basic here, to improvements from CodeLlama, just improving Bard's code, and then ChatGPT 3.5 finishing it off. And then I specifically used ChatGPT 3.5 to finish it off because if you look at a lot of benchmark tests, GPT 3.5 as actually it outperforms GPT-4 in a lot of coding tasks. So I like using GPT 3.5 for coding tasks. It's good. Not single shotting, which a lot of evidence shows, but like if you're doing like this method where you're having it improve. And then so let's see, like this is a very complex example, which I know will like flat out break it single shot, and we'll see what it does if as we continue to code. And then so this last example is I'd like to build a website that has an SFTP listener built into it. The SFTP listener should connect to a HubSpot instance on the back end. Can you provide the code for this? And then we'll see what happens. Up front, I haven't produced any. I didn't put any of these directly in the models beforehand, so I don't know what they're going to produce. Good. Yes, we're going to have to import some libraries. Okay. Let's see the other examples. So we all the same. Oh, okay, we'll see. I'll just use this one. And then, oh. So this code wouldn't work, I can tell you that. Let's see what happens when it gets improved. So let's again give it like the context. I think especially as we get more complex here, and then we'll say, can you optimize the code, and then this. I like the explanation that it gives us up there. So I didn't do a lot, which I'm expecting, right? This is like a complex example here. But let's see what the big dog does. As the last example here. Now we'll just get the context again. And we'll say like ask it to optimize and improve. Let's see if that does anything else. This is a more complex one. It looks a lot nicer up front. Let's take a look. Good. Yeah, so that's the very good. Good. Okay. Nice. So we get at the in the end workable code for I wasn't sure if it would produce like what we could actually like what I would consider just reading through it. I would never run through it, but um, starting from this, and then essentially Code Llama improved one just made a one small improvement on the code. Yeah, just one small thing, and then ChatGPT cleaned it up a lot. Like this is a big improvement from, especially from the starting point. So this is nice. And then so you can see again, it's the way to go. Just showcasing this that it's. I guess the big thing to showcase with this is that like this, you can utilize LLM models in the status quo to produce code and produce code pretty easily and produce code that's workable. The best way to do that is to have the models iterate on themselves or to utilize human feedback and within like back and forth within that. And then so there's pros and cons to that, and then there's anyone can cite their ethical issues around that, but just showcasing what is capable within the status quo within this, and how like again, if you're examining these models by single shotting, by looking at just like the first example that you're going to post, like again, it's like every single example that we look through, except for of course Hello World. Uh, the two examples that we looked through with Bard, they don't like this code wouldn't work. But then by the time that we get it through to ChatGPT, this is pretty beautiful code. And then so you can see by utilizing this is essentially just utilizing what LLM models are kind of currently bad at, which is producing and generating initial code based off of your prompts. But then LLM models are very good at optimizing code that's already built and improving upon it. And then especially ChatGPT 3.5 seems to be the best currently at these types of tasks. And then it does really well, as you can see. So I hope you like this type of video and you like this type of content. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.